Well, I always thought they could come out the other end,
To cause problems everywhere.
and we're just digging a bigger hole. We have to call it today.
Hello and welcome, Chris Worden, the Director First podcast, and I'm joined today by a director we've been supporting recently, Gary, formerly of a firm called ADS. Gary, thank you, mate, for joining the podcast today, pal.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you've got your hands full there with a bit of a poorly granddaughter as well.
Yeah, she's all right.
Yeah.
It's gone showing now, so.
Yeah, they always tend to feel a lot better at home, I find, with mine.
Oh, yeah, she does.
Right, listen, I'm going to dive into it. Me and you crossed paths probably a few months ago. I think you found me on TikTok, actually.
I did.
And you called me up. You had some serious issues that were going on with the business, and issues that there wasn't really of your making, Gary. You know what I mean? It was circumstance. It's just powers things out of your control. So I just want to talk. We don't have to go into specifics, mate. But what prompted you to reach out to this funny-looking bold chap with specs on TikTok?
Well, me and my wife had been poorly for, say, 2 years. So we had been out of the business for about 18 months, but I kept popping in, but I wasn't well enough to work. And the wife wasn't, who was the director at the time as well. She wasn't very good in herself, had just had breast cancer. And Samantha, my daughter, was running it for us, and she said, Dad, it's getting worse and worse. So I says, I think we need to call somebody in. And I says, well, I want to try and get out of it. And you do try, and you keep trying. But at the end, I couldn't see no light at the end of the tunnel. We was paying, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And so she knew of you on TikTok. And I says, you need to go on TikTok and listen to this bald guy. And I must have listened to you, about 20 times a day. Because you used to come on and tell me different things, different stories and what. And in the end, I just gave you a ring. I had to give you a ring. And ever since then, we've lost the company now, but health-wise, I'm getting better because I haven't got it out hanging over my head. So.
And listen, let's talk about this company. I mean, this company, it was not a new company, was it? This is like an established business that had gone on for. Your company was it about 30 years old?
32 years old.
32 years. So yeah. I'd have been at school where your granddaughter is when you set this company up. I'd have been in shorts, and I'd have had a bit more hair. You might have had as well.
I probably did. We started with one van on the drive.
Yeah.
And running it from our spare bedroom upstairs. And we ended up, after just before 32 years, we had 20 vehicles. I think it was 12 trailers and 49,000 square feet of warehouse and 30 employees.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been all bad. Don't get me wrong, it's not been plain sailing all the way through the 32 years. We remortgaged our house twice.
Wow.
To keep people in jobs, because that was our aim, to keep people in jobs all the while. And I could have pulled it years ago, but we decided to mortgage the house and remortgage the house and carry on. But even this time, I'd got a loan from a loan company ready to invest. And I thought, I don't need this hanging over us because I'm 65 years old now and I've got 12 months to go. And I thought, I don't need this for the next 5 years coming out hanging over my head.
Yeah.
So I decided to call you.
Well, listen, I'm grateful for any inquiry I got, and you know, the first call I got from you, I call them straight shooters, you know, because there's this myth that anyone who goes insolvent has got to be some criminal mastermind, you know, like, and that's what people worry about. They're thinking,
Yeah.
oh God, they're going to be looking at me, and I knew straight away after having a chat with you. You know, for the amount of tax you must have paid over the years, and even then, you know, I think it was your daughter. It was, you didn't want to. You saw what it was doing to Sam as well, wasn't it? It was like, you know, this you know, this what was your baby. It's starting to, you know, to cause problems everywhere, and
every time I rung Sam up some days and said, right, how is today? And she'd be crying down the phone, and then I'll ring her some days and how are you in work? Then so I'll ring her at home and I said, Dad, I couldn't face it today. So.
Yeah. And you know, you were people who try. You literally, like you say, you've remortgaged the house twice. You really put your neck on the line. And I always remember you wanted to soften the blow for absolute. Your intentions were always to do the right thing. And when it got to picking the phone up to me, it was. I think the hardest things must have been. You know, it's something that's grown up with you for such a long time. And what was going through your head before you pick the phone up? That's the because there's people who'll be watching this who will be in the same position as you.
Well, I always thought we could come out the other end, and we was just digging a bigger hole.
Yeah.
So in the end, it's just the worry of it, and we have to call it today. But at the end of the day as well, I says to Sam, I'm going to close the doors, but I'm not going to close them until after the 20th of the month, because I wanted to make sure every employee got the month's wages.
Yeah.
And I closed it a couple of days after the 20th, so they didn't lose too much money in the end.
And they'll have all been able to get whatever redundancy that was due, any unpaid holidays, and again, one thing that some, you know, for somebody who's been in situ for such as long as you and the wife, potentially there's redundancy claims for you both as well a little bit down the line, but. Obviously, all that worry, all that stress, you've said a really important thing. And I remember this, because I got in this game because I had to go insolvent, I had to liquidate a business. And I remember the mental anguish it took on me, because, like, mate, if I fall, no one catches me. You know, I had little kids, I'd go home. And that's when the problem started for me, is when I'm sat down trying to chill out with kids, or I'm going to bed, and my head would be going, you know, doing 10 to the dozen, always looking at worst case scenario. And I've got a brain that if something bad's going on, or there's a potential for bad to happen, my head will go there. It won't go to anywhere else. It's like, this is going to be a catastrophe. I say it in jest, I'm going to end up in a skip. You know, I have them thoughts me every few months, you know, and so since taking the decision, you've started to feel a little bit better in your health, and I take it that stress has gone from Sam as well.
Oh yeah, it has, and Sam comes and visits us a couple of days a week, and is so much happier.
Yeah,
she really is. She got no stress. Has got a new job now, and I love it. Doing the same sort of thing as she was doing for us, but she loves it because they've got no stress, because it's not her parents' company, it's somebody else's. So.
Yeah, push that door in at 5 o'clock and go home and forget about it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Because you've been through the process, Gary, could you tell us a little bit about what it was like? You know, there's lots of paperwork. There's, you know, how was it for you? You know, actually from making the inquiry to sort of pulling the trigger. What are the things that we went through? You know, it wasn't like, right, you need to sign tomorrow. There was a bit of time. There was a bit of strategy that went behind it. We had to get some money in to clear a ledger out, and
Yep.
how did that go for you?
Well, we closed the doors on the 22nd of March, and then we had to, and you was giving me advice all the while. There was you and, is it Emily?
Yeah, Emily.
Yeah. She was giving me advice all the while, and then we was going. Marshall and Peter's got in touch with us.
Yeah, Lee and John and the team over at MP.
They was giving me advice all the while, and Sam was employed by you then to get the money in, and luckily we had some really good customers. We did, and didn't argue. They just paid the bills, and we was able to pay the factoring company off, some of the other people off, and then we was dealing with Damien, and he fetched all the vehicles from our place, and we got rid of them then, and then I think we actually went insolvent on May the 8th.
Yeah, that was probably when I think that was when the creditors meeting was, because we've got to give a bit of time, haven't we, between signing papers to actually dropping it into liquidation.
There's a lot more paperwork than I thought there would be. But Sam was good with that with me. He'd come up and give me a hand with it. And if I if I wasn't up, I'd ring you and you give me advice about the paperwork. And it was great all the way along. So
I appreciate that. And that's what we've got, a team of people that, like you say, we need an agent come in to sort of value assets. We need to, you know, obviously got to bring the insolvency practitioners in, and it's very daunting for people, mate. It will be now. People are watching. It is. It's uncomfortable, isn't it? It's overwhelming.
But I would advise anybody what's in trouble, if they think they're insolvent, to get on the phone to you.
Yeah.
And you would put them down the right path.
Do you know what? I'd say over 90% of people who I speak to, they don't have to go insolvent. They just need a bit of a steer on what to do, Gary. It's like, well, you need to say this, you need to do that. God's sake, don't do that. And if it gets worse, give us a bell. But hopefully, you know, because people, they're not used to it, are they? It's not something you can talk to your mate down the pub about. It's like you don't know where to turn. People are rabbits stuck in headlights. They make bad decisions when they're in that position, and that's what we try and do. Is we don't judge. You know, I've been there. I have been where you was at, and I came through the other side, thankfully.
Yeah. I do advise anybody to get in touch with you. Don't keep going to have sleepless nights, or because that's what you're doing. You're having sleepless nights, then you're getting up the next morning and thinking, "Oh, no, I've got to face that again." And there's no need for it. Just get in touch with you, and you will advise them what to do.
And Gary, listen, you built a business from a bedroom to a successful business. You know, listen, you go back 3 years ago, this business, it's done good number. The fact that everybody pretty much paid you, even when they knew that you're going insolvent, it testifies to what type of guy, how you guys ran that company. Can you give us, you're a UK director here, there's not many people that have a business for that long. What were your biggest lessons in business? What tales of wisdom share with us?
The biggest lessons was Well, my biggest downfall, I trusted too many people, and they would shit on me. And me, so towards the end, I learned not to trust so many people, and because over the years we have been shit on. And I mean, sorry about the language, but
It's all right, mate. It's not. It's not. I'll put an 18 on this one.
I've had people break into the warehouse. I've had people nick diesel.
Yeah.
I've had people smash the wagons up of employed agencies. They've hit trees and ruined the wagon altogether. And it's sometimes you wake up, oh, is it worth it? But it was worth it. It over the say 30 years, the last 2 years a bit. Over the 30 years, it gives me a good life. I didn't make thousands, don't get me wrong. I was never going to ever be a millionaire, but it gave me a good life.
Yeah.
So, and I did remortgage the house twice, but through the business, I was able to do that, then pay it off again. But we never paid it off. That we never put that through the business. We paid it off ourselves. So we didn't want to hurt the business. So.
And you know what you're going to do now, mate? Obviously, coming up to that big birthday.
Next year, yeah. Next
The
April.
plan next.
I'm going to retire. I'm looking after the wife because my wife is still not well. She's getting better, don't get me wrong, but she needs looking after. She's not very mobile. We've had a stair lift fitted in the house. She's got a special chair here. If we go out, I have to put her in a wheelchair, or if it's a bit of a distance, I have to put her in on a scooter because I can't push her too much. But if it's only a small distance, I'll push her. But we because I had a bypass 18 months ago, so that's what was when I was off poorly, and so I didn't. I don't have to put. I don't want to put strain on my heart. So I just need a relaxing life now. So.
Well, Gary, listen, I genuinely, appreciate you putting your faith in me. From the bottom of my heart, thanks for trusting me with because it's such a big decision, this. And let me tell you, it can, with insolvency, you've got to measure twice and cut once. You've got to get the right firm to help you. So really appreciate that, mate. And I wish you all the best, genuinely, to you, Sam, the wife. And if you ever, you know where I am, mate.
Yeah.
And you've been a first class client. Did everything that we asked, complied, got us the information quickly, and if you ever need anything, you know where we are.
Thank you very much, man.
God bless you, man.
Yep.
I know that little one's feeling better.
I'll keep in touch with you, and you keep in touch with me if you ever need anything.
100%, mate. Thank you, Gary. Take it easy, man. Bye bye.
All the best. Bye bye.